Let us make man in our image and after our likeness, and let them have dominion. That wasn't just a poetic sentence. That wasn't a casual remark in Genesis. That was a divine decree. That was the government of heaven extending its territory into earth. And when God said them, he meant both male and female. Don't let religion lie to you. God gave woman dominion. From the beginning, the original mandate was to reflect the image of God and function in the authority of God. And let me tell you something, God never repeals his mandates. He is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should change his mind. When he said dominion, he meant it. When he said fruitful, he meant it. When he said subdue, multiply, rule, he meant it. That is your genetic code in the kingdom. And I'm here to tell you, woman, you were never an afterthought. You are not a leftover. You are not a side character in God's plan. You were born for dominion. Heaven hardwired you for leadership, for purpose, for governance. The only reason you've doubted yourself is because we've allowed culture and religion to dictate what God already defined. Now here's the tragedy. The earth is filled with women who don't know who they are. Women who are afraid of their own power. Women who've been trained to suppress what God put in them. And it breaks my heart because when you lose your identity, you lose your destiny. A woman who doesn't know what she carries will sell herself cheap. A woman who doesn't know her purpose will settle for abuse, manipulation, and mediocrity. And when you do that, the enemy doesn't even need to fight you. You disqualify yourself. You wake up every day just trying to survive instead of taking up the space. God called you to dominate. That's the gap. That's the chasm between heaven's original intent and earth's current condition. We've got churches full of women who shout but don't reign, who pray but don't believe, who are busy but not fruitful. We've got women looking in mirrors trying to be perfect when God never asked you to be perfect. He asked you to be powerful. That power isn't in your makeup, your figure, or your fashion. It's in your gifts. And God gave you gifts, 7 powerful gifts. But if you don't know what they are, you'll bury them. And let me say this to you loud and clear. The kingdom is within you. I know what religion told you. I know what society told you. They told you to be quiet. They told you to wait your turn. They told you your value was in who married you, or how many children you had, or how well you could serve. But Jesus didn't die just to get you into heaven. He died to get heaven back into you. He died to restore what was lost in the garden. And what was lost wasn't just righteousness. It was position, power, purpose, and identity. That's why the enemy came for the woman first. Because if you can confuse the woman, you can confuse the nation. If you can silence the woman, you can silence the generations. But Jesus came to lift up what had been pushed down. He came to give you back your keys. He came to reintroduce you to your original self. And let me tell you something. When Jesus rose from the grave, the first person he revealed himself to was not a priest, not a bishop, not a man, it was a woman. Why? Because God was telling the world, she still carries my assignment. That means you still carry the assignment. Don't wait for permission. You already have a commission. So let me talk to you as a brother in the kingdom. Let me talk to you as a spiritual father. As a man who has been to the mountain of leadership and seen the brokenness down below. I've met queens who live like peasants. I've met powerful women afraid of their own voice. And I'm here to say to you, it is time to wake up. You can't waste another year trying to be liked. You can't waste another decade trying to blend in. You were not born to blend. You were born to stand out. You've got too much purpose inside of you to play small. You've got too much fire in your belly to keep sitting on your hands. The kingdom doesn't need more polite women. It needs more powerful ones. The kingdom needs Deborahs who will rise in war. It needs Esthers who will risk everything to save a generation. It needs Marys who will say, "Be it unto me." It needs you in your full identity, not a copy of someone else, not a shadow of a trend, but you, fully alive, fully equipped, fully walking in the authority of heaven. Because you were born for dominion, God gave you gifts, spiritual, emotional, intellectual, physical, and relational gifts. And He's expecting a return. You're not just a helper. You're not just an assistant. You are a carrier of divine seeds. And one of the greatest lies of the enemy is to make you fear your own fruitfulness. The devil is terrified of a fruitful woman because fruitfulness multiplies vision. Fruitfulness multiplies faith. Fruitfulness changes bloodlines. But you can't be fruitful if you don't believe you were created to be. And here's the tragedy. When a woman hides her gifts, she doesn't just rob herself. She robs the world. Every gift you bury is a future you deny. Every dream you delay is a destiny you detour. I've come to provoke you, to disturb your comfort, because comfort kills callings. You were not saved to be safe. You were saved to be strategic. You were not redeemed to relax. You were redeemed to reign. The enemy knows this, which is why he sends distraction, why he sends delay, why he sends deception. But today, I came as a kingdom ambassador to shake you loose from that lie. The kingdom is within you. Now don't misunderstand me. I'm not just talking about running a business, preaching on a stage, or holding a title. I'm talking about walking in revelation. I'm talking about becoming who you already are in God's eyes. Because if the enemy can't destroy you, he'll distract you. If he can't silence you, he'll give you the wrong script. But God is calling you back to the original blueprint. He's saying, daughter, I gave you wisdom, use it. I gave you discernment, trust it. I gave you nurture, release it. I gave you strategy, implement it. I gave you beauty, wear it with power. I gave you boldness, speak. I gave you faith, now walk in it. These are your 7 gifts. And if you waste them, the enemy wins by default. But if you rise, if you decide to stand in who God made you to be, then you're not just winning for yourself. You're winning for your children, your family, your nation, your generation. Because when a woman walks in her kingdom purpose, hell trembles. When a woman walks in kingdom culture, heaven backs her. When a woman walks in her identity, legacies shift. And that's why you cannot lead what you don't understand. You've got to understand who you are before you can step into who you're called to be. Let me tell you from experience, I've seen what happens when a woman understands the kingdom. She doesn't beg for love. She doesn't shrink in the face of challenge. She doesn't compromise to be accepted. She carries herself with royalty because she knows she came from royal blood. The kingdom changes your posture. It changes your language. It changes your vision. Because when you understand that the kingdom is within you, you stop asking for permission to do what God already called you to do. You stop second-guessing what heaven has already confirmed. You stop comparing yourself to others and start commanding your environment. That's what Jesus came to restore. Not a religion, not a routine, but a governmental culture of rulership, stewardship, responsibility, and glory. And woman, you are included in that. Stop letting the devil define you by your past. Stop letting culture limit you to trends. Stop letting pain write your future. The kingdom is within you. You are not the product of your trauma. You are not the reflection of your failure. You are the evidence of God's redemptive power. If you've been through the fire, it's because God knew you'd carry the flame. If you've been through betrayal, it's because God knew you could still love. If you've been overlooked, it's because God was hiding you for a greater moment. Don't curse the hiding. It's part of the preparation. God never sends out a soldier who hasn't been trained in private. But now the trumpet is blowing. The alarm is sounding. And heaven is saying, woman, arise. Arise in your mind. Arise in your faith. Arise in your authority, because you were born for dominion. You were never meant to sit quietly in the corner of history. You were meant to shape it, shift it, lead it, inspire it. Don't let fear keep you paralyzed. Fear is not your friend. Fear is the alarm that the enemy sounds when you're getting close to your breakthrough. But I declare over you, fear is a liar, and the truth is, you are equipped for what's ahead. The 7 gifts God gave you are not optional. They are necessary. And I came to tell you what nobody else might have. It is a sin to waste what God has given you. That's right. It is a sin to hide your gift. Jesus told the parable of the talents not to entertain, but to warn us. The one who buried his gift was not called faithful. He was called wicked. God does not reward caution. He rewards faith. And woman of God, I want to challenge you to stop being careful and start being courageous. You have gifts of intuition, of wisdom, of intercession, of compassion, of endurance, of insight, of influence. And those gifts are not just for your benefit. They are for the assignment. The gift of nurture is a weapon in the kingdom. The gift of discernment is a radar against deception. The gift of faith is a shield in spiritual warfare. These are not cute traits. They are governmental tools. God trusted you with them. Don't insult God's trust by burying what He gave you to multiply. Now you may say, Dr. Munroe, I've made too many mistakes. I've wasted too much time. Let me tell you something. Redemption is a kingdom currency. God does not just restore the soul, He restores the years. He gives back what the locust devoured. He renews the wasted seasons. But you've got to decide that your future is more important than your past. You've got to decide that destiny matters more than disappointment. You've got to decide that purpose is bigger than your pain. You've got to let God reintroduce you to the woman you forgot you were. I don't care if you've been divorced, rejected, abandoned, abused, forgotten. The blood of Jesus still says you're royalty. The cross still declares you're valuable. The resurrection still announces that you are needed. Your life is not over. It's just beginning. And the moment you say yes to kingdom, heaven begins to rewrite your legacy. Don't look at your current circumstances to determine your value. Look at the one who made you. He doesn't call you broken. He doesn't call you weak. He doesn't call you shameful. He calls you daughter. He calls you chosen. He calls you mighty. He calls you appointed. And let me tell you what I've learned. When God calls you, nobody else's opinion matters. When God anoints you, even the oil can't stay in the jar. It has to flow. And when a woman who knows who she is starts walking in her gifts, systems shift, chains break, atmospheres change. Because you're not just releasing talent, you're releasing government. That's what the kingdom is. The government of God extended into the earth through His sons and daughters. And that includes you. Yes, you, the one reading this right now. The one who's been wondering if she's too much or not enough. The one who's been afraid to be powerful. Let me say it again. You were born for dominion, and the kingdom is within you. Stop living like you're waiting for something. You don't need a sign. You are the sign. You don't need more affirmation. You need activation. And that's why I'm here. I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to activate you, to stir up what's been sleeping, to shake off what's been stuck, to tell you that you are next, that you are now, that the time of waiting is over. It's time to build. It's time to speak. It's time to move. You've got books in you, sermons in you, strategies in you, solutions in you. There are generations inside of you waiting to be born. Don't die full, die empty, having poured it all out for the glory of God. Don't waste your gifts. Don't waste your tears. Don't waste your training. Everything you've been through was for the equipping of the saints. Everything you survived is part of your testimony, and your testimony is someone else's survival manual. Don't hide it, release it, because the kingdom is within you. I've got one mission with this sermon, to make you dangerous again, to make you stop crying over what didn't happen and start creating what's supposed to happen, to remind you that you don't need to be rescued. You need to be released. You don't need to be chosen by people. You were already chosen by God. You don't need the stage, you need the Spirit. You don't need applause. You need authority. And it's time to stand in that authority. It's time to step into the calling. It's time to walk into every room like you belong there. Because if heaven sent you, hell can't stop you. You don't need to fight for a seat at the table. You are the table. You bring the kingdom with you. You carry the Holy Ghost. You are not waiting for revival. You are the revival. And when you rise, you give other women permission to do the same. So I'm calling you not to religion, but to reign. Not to ceremony, but to sonship. Not to shame, but to power. You don't need to beg for what God already gave. He gave you 7 gifts, woman of God. Use them. Don't waste them. Multiply them. Steward them. Because one day you will stand before the King, and He won't ask you how well you obeyed tradition. He'll ask how faithfully you fulfilled your assignment. And I want you to hear Him say, "Well done." Not because you were perfect, but because you were faithful. Because you dared to believe that what He put inside you was holy. Because you chose purpose over popularity. Because you chose the kingdom over comfort. And now you carry the fruit of obedience. Let me pray over you that the veil would be lifted, that the chains would break, that the clarity would come. I decree over your life, every buried gift will be resurrected. Every delayed vision will be reignited. Every false label will be stripped away. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are not too late. The kingdom is calling you. The earth is groaning for you. The Spirit is stirring you. This is your moment. Don't miss it. Don't waste it. Don't sleep on it. It's time to move. It's time to build. It's time to lead. It's time to dominate, because you were born for dominion, and the kingdom is within you. You see, when a woman discovers her gift, she becomes a movement. She becomes a force. She becomes a revival in heels. And the devil knows that. That's why from the very beginning, he targeted the woman, not because she was weak, but because she was essential. He knew she carried the womb of the next generation. He knew she was the incubator of purpose. He knew she was the multiplier of the word. Don't let anyone fool you. It wasn't a man that birthed the Messiah. It was a woman. And that wasn't random. It was revelation. God trusted a woman with the entrance of heaven into earth. And He's still doing that. He's still entrusting women with vision, with prophetic dreams, with divine assignments that shift atmospheres and awaken destinies. And I'm telling you now, woman of God, if He trusted Mary with Jesus, He can trust you with the gifts He placed in your life. And don't say you're not qualified. Heaven doesn't choose the qualified. Heaven qualifies the chosen. And you are chosen. You've got to understand, you're not just here to decorate the kingdom, you're here to demonstrate it. That's why the enemy fights your confidence. That's why he attacks your self-worth, because if he can get you to doubt your voice, he can stop your message. If he can get you to question your value, he can bury your impact. But not anymore. Today is the day you stop looking down and start looking up. Today is the day you stop shrinking and start stretching. Today is the day you stop hiding and start declaring, I am who God says I am. I'm not my shame. I'm not my story. I'm not my scars. I'm not my silence. I am a daughter of the King. I am a warrior. I am a leader. I am a builder. I am a gift to this generation. And I won't apologize for it. I won't hide it. I won't dim it. I will rise and walk in my dominion, because the kingdom is within me. There are 7 gifts God placed inside of you, and each one is a mirror of His character. The first is the gift of nurture, the divine ability to multiply what you touch. When a woman receives a seed, she turns it into life. That's not just biology, that's kingdom. You take little and make it much. You take mess and make it ministry. You take pain and make it power. And this is not weakness, this is divine design. You are a cultivator of destiny. Don't let anyone minimize your nurturing spirit. It is a strategic weapon in the hands of God. The second is the gift of discernment, that radar in your spirit that sees beyond what eyes can see, that gut feeling you get when something is off. that whisper in your soul when something is wrong. That's not paranoia. That's divine detection. God gave you that so you could navigate the unseen, to protect your house, to shield your children, to lead with spiritual precision. You can't lead what you don't understand. And too many women ignore their discernment because of fear. But I'm telling you now, trust the gift. The Holy Spirit didn't give it for decoration. He gave it for direction. The third is the gift of compassion, the ability to see pain and respond with grace, not sympathy, not pity, but kingdom compassion, the kind that moves heaven. Jesus was moved with compassion and healed. Woman of God, when you are moved with compassion, you release miracles. That hug you give, it heals. That prayer you whisper, it shifts. That counsel you offer, it restores. Don't you dare think your compassion is weakness. It's your weapon. The world is cold, but the kingdom flows through warmth. Your compassion is holy. The fourth is the gift of endurance. I don't think there's any creature on earth that can endure like a woman who believes in her purpose. You've survived what should have broken you. You've endured storms, betrayal, loss, rejection, and you're still here. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's kingdom endurance. And I speak this into your spirit right now. You will outlast the storm. You're not going to quit. You're not going to fold. You're not going to die in the wilderness. You're coming out with power. You're coming out with revelation. You're coming out with fresh oil. The fifth is the gift of insight, supernatural wisdom that can untangle problems no one else can solve. That's why people come to you with their issues. That's why others seek your counsel, because heaven has deposited keys inside of you. Kingdom keys that unlock strategy, creativity, and breakthrough. Stop second-guessing your insight. It's not just you. It's the Holy Spirit speaking through you. That idea, that solution, that vision, that's heaven on assignment. The sixth is the gift of influence, the capacity to shift an atmosphere by simply walking into the room. You don't have to say a word. Your presence is prophetic. Your life is a sermon. Your faith is contagious. That's why the enemy tried to silence your voice, because he knows your influence is dangerous. You don't need a platform to change lives. Just open your mouth. Just live authentically. Just be who God made you to be. That's enough to shake nations. And the seventh, the most powerful, is the gift of faith. Woman of God, you've got the kind of faith that moves mountains, the kind of faith that defies statistics, the kind of faith that births nations. Don't downplay your faith. Don't water it down. Don't apologize for believing God. That mustard seed you carry is enough to move every giant in your life. So believe again, dream again, speak again, stand again, prophesy again, because the kingdom is within you. And now I come to the close, but not a conclusion. Because this sermon isn't just a message, it's a mandate, it's a calling. It's a divine invitation to step into your assignment. I dare you to walk different after this. I dare you to pray different, think different, lead different. I dare you to wake up tomorrow and say, I'm not just a woman. I'm a kingdom ambassador. I'm a steward of glory. I'm a citizen of heaven. And I refuse to waste another day playing small. Woman of God, the time is now. The hour is urgent. Hell has already declared war. It's time for you to stand up and fight, not with fear, but with fire, not with bitterness, but with boldness, not with insecurity, but with identity. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what you've done. I don't care how many times you failed. You're still chosen. God doesn't change his mind about purpose. Heaven is waiting for your yes. And when you say yes, everything will shift. So rise, woman of God. Roar like the lioness you are. Shake the earth with your faith. Stir the heavens with your prayers. Release your gifts. Redeem the time. Build like Nehemiah. Pray like Hannah. Lead like Deborah. Fast like Esther. Birth destiny like Mary. And love like Jesus. because you were born for dominion, and the kingdom is within you. If you could see what I see in the spirit right now, you'd stop second-guessing your value. I see nations in your womb. I see movements in your voice. I see strategies in your spirit. I see chains falling off generations because of your obedience. You were not created for decoration, and you were created for demonstration. You were not created to imitate trends. You were created to set them. You were not born to chase blessings. You were born to be one. Woman of God, this is not the season to shrink back. This is the season to show up in prayer, show up in business, show up in ministry, show up in your marriage, show up in your city, show up with fire in your eyes and kingdom in your bones. Why? Because the kingdom is within you. You have a responsibility now. You've heard the call. You've been awakened to your authority. You can no longer pretend like you don't know. You can't go back to small thinking, weak praying, fear-based living. You can't unknow what the Spirit has just revealed. And what's been revealed? That you are dangerous to darkness. You are lethal to lies. You are a threat to the enemy. You are the evidence that God still raises up daughters to dominate. And you must protect that revelation, because the enemy will come for it. He'll whisper that you're being too bold, too loud, too much. But let me tell you, boldness is not pride. Boldness is kingdom. Loudness is not arrogance. It's legacy in motion. And too much is exactly what you need to be when hell tries to keep you quiet. Be too much for mediocrity. Be too much for compromise. Be too much for that old mindset that said you should stay in the background. The devil is a liar. God called you frontline. I didn't write this to entertain you. I wrote this to awaken what's been sleeping in you. The enemy didn't fight you for your looks. He fought you for your call. He didn't attack your confidence for no reason. He knew you'd speak and shift atmospheres. That's why the storms were so violent. That's why the heartbreak was so deep. That's why the betrayal cut so sharp. But hear me, if you survived it, that means you're anointed to conquer it. The oil flows through the crushing. The power flows through the pressing. So stop hiding your scars, then they are proof that grace wins. They are proof that purpose prevails. They are proof that the kingdom is within you. I see too many women stuck in cycles, in toxic friendships, in dead-end jobs, in spiritual confusion, because they've never seen what's possible when a woman says yes to God completely. So let me tell you what happens. When a woman says yes to kingdom, entire bloodlines change. When a woman says yes, family curses break. When a woman says yes, cities get reformed. When a woman says yes, the enemy loses territory. So if you've ever felt like your life was under siege, it's because your yes is worth that much. Your yes is heavy. Your yes is history shaking. That's why you've been through so much. That's why you've cried in secret. That's why you've battled insecurity for years. Because the devil knew the moment you wake up, everything changes. Well, guess what? You just woke up. Now here's what you do next. You reclaim your territory. You go back and get what the enemy stole. You go back and dig up the dreams you buried. You go back and break the cycles you inherited. Because this is your season of divine takeover. You're not asking anymore. You're taking what belongs to you. And not out of pride, but out of prophetic purpose. You're taking your peace. You're taking your vision. You're taking your clarity. You're taking your marriage back. You're taking your daughter's deliverance. You're taking your son's future. You're taking your generational wealth. Because you were born for dominion. You're not the weak link. You're not the liability. You're the solution. You are God's secret weapon against the enemy's lies. So walk like it. Talk like it. Move like it. Worship like it. Prophesy like it. Dress like it. Pray like it. Build like it. Because you are not who you were 5 years ago. You're not even who you were 5 minutes ago. The Word just upgraded your identity. Heaven just reaffirmed your mission. You've just been realigned with God's original intent. And when God's intent is understood, abuse ends. When purpose is revealed, power is unlocked. When identity is reclaimed, legacy begins. And your legacy starts now. So to every woman who's been silent, I speak. Your voice matters. To every woman who's been hiding, I declare your light is needed. To every woman who's been broken, I prophesy your healing is here. To every woman who's been forgotten, I affirm God sees you, and He's not done with you. In fact, He's just getting started. That wilderness you've been in, that wasn't punishment, it was preparation. That waiting season, that wasn't delay, it was development. That desert, that wasn't death, it was destiny in disguise. And now you've come out with fire. What the enemy meant for evil, God is turning for good. What tried to bury you only built your roots deeper. What tried to silence you only stirred your sound. And that sound, your kingdom sound, is the sound of revival, the sound of deliverance, the sound of a generation coming out of darkness into light, the sound of Esther rising, the sound of Ruth gleaning, the sound of Hannah birthing, the sound of Deborah judging, the sound of Mary believing, the sound of you walking in your dominion, because the kingdom is within you. Now is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next year. Right now, the Spirit of the Lord is saying, woman, be loosened, be activated, be released. I call forth every buried gift to rise. I call forth every silenced voice to speak. I call forth every dream to live. I call forth every womb to carry destiny. I call forth every mind to be renewed. I call forth every spirit to rise in power. You are the woman God rebuilt. You are the woman the enemy couldn't kill. You are the woman the fire couldn't burn. You are the woman the system couldn't stop. You are the woman God anointed for such a time as this. So go forth, build boldly, lead fiercely, love deeply, pray relentlessly, fight victoriously, sow generously, and worship ferociously. For the earth is waiting for the manifestation of the daughters of God, and you are one of them. Walk in it, believe it, multiply it. Don't hide it, don't waste it, because God gave you these 7 gifts, and the world is waiting to receive them through you. You were born for dominion. The kingdom is within you. Now activate it.